Andy Stevenson for Severe MMA, and I'm joined by Paul Redmond, who is currently sporting a lovely cast on his left leg. So I suppose the elephant in the room, what's the injury and how did it happen, Paul?
Yeah, I was training one Saturday about 5 weeks ago, maybe 6, and we were out. We usually do like a cross country run before we go training on a Saturday with all the lads. Did that, went for something to eat, went to wrestling practice. Wasn't doing anything crazy, wasn't hard sparring. I seen some people tweeting me saying, "Oh, you must have been killing each other in the gym." It wasn't like that at all. It was wrestling practice, and we were in live rounds with 7 Graham Shane, and I was just going for a hip throw, basic hip throw. I've done probably a couple of thousand times over the years. I was doing all the correct steps and all the correct procedures. He was trying to fight it, I was trying to fight it a little more. I just felt a big pop in the back of my leg. Got the scan on it maybe a week later. Got it read by one of the top surgeons top ankle specialists in Beaumont. Dan Healy put me in touch with him, Dr. Walsh, and he said I needed surgery on it yesterday, sort of when I went to see him. So I was seeing him Monday afternoon, and I was in and out of the hospital on Wednesday afternoon. So it was a fractured tibia and a certain ligament, I can't remember what the name of it is in Latin, was torn off the bone. So basically it needed 2 plates, stitched back to the whatever's being stitched. I was talking to him after. He said, as far as surgery's concerned, everything's went perfect. He says there's no scar tissue around my leg, or there was, couldn't have went any better. So I'm in the boot for the last 3 weeks. I've got another 3 weeks to go on it, and then 4 weeks, 5 weeks rehab. But I can get back light drilling, and then hopefully start picking training right up then after that. So I'm trying to go back maybe January, February earliest. I'm trying to get back in as soon as possible, but I'm not going to rush the rehab just to get back in, but I do want to fight sort of sooner rather than later.
Yeah, and I suppose on that kind of wanting to fight for sooner rather than later, obviously this isn't your kind of first rodeo with injuries. You obviously had the broken nose at the fight over in KSW in Poland, and then there was the torn rotator cuff ahead of the Charlie Leary fight. I suppose, like, what are the emotions? Like, it must be very frustrating. You kind of had that like comeback fight almost in your last one, and I suppose, what was it like? What are the emotions now?
It's just yeah, you're right. I've had a couple of injuries over the last few years. Like, you tend not to get them when you're sort of. I took up the sport super late. I only threw my first punch down in the gym at 22. Like, I only walked through the doors of the team when I was 22, and I'm 33 now next month. So that's 11 years. And the way I train, I don't sort of dip my toe in and half-arse things. It's 2 sessions a day, non-stop. It's for the last 11 years. So maybe it's just a little bit getting a bit taxing on my body. I don't know. I feel great. That was just what happened to my ankle was just. It probably could have happened to anybody on the day. Get my nose smashed again. It's in a fight, so they happen all the time. It's just unfortunate that it happened to me. The rotator cuff was happening for a while, and I broke my arm prior to that, training with Daniel Weidzel. So not that we don't overtrain in the gym, we don't kill ourselves, kill each other at sparring. They're not what the injuries are from. You know what I mean? So. I don't know, it's just one of those things. I do take care of my body. I don't be out in the rip every weekend drinking and partying. I live the athlete lifestyle. I work full time and I train full time, but that's really it. So maybe just take a step back from it. Taking a step back from training, obviously when I'm this, but I'll pick it up again and see how we're feeling next year.
Yeah, and then obviously, kind of coming into the fight week next week, it's got to be bittersweet, kind of seeing your teammates out there competing. How are you approaching that? Like, is it kind of a case of just kind of being there for your teammates? Are you going to be kind of cornering them, or what are you looking to do kind of as the fight becomes?
Yeah, like next week I'll be sickened. I'll be disgusted that I won't be fighting, but I'd be 100. I'm always 100% there for the lads on any of the shows. Which I travel quite a lot with the lads. If Andy can't get away with any of the lads abroad, I'm the first one that goes. And I love it. I love being around the sport. I love helping the lads out. And if I'm not fighting, I love being in their corners and giving them whatever bit of knowledge I have. So I won't be selfish next week. I'll be there for the lads 100%. But yeah, I'll be sick that fighting in front of the Irish crowd would be great. Especially the last time I didn't think they were doing the full 10,000. I thought the way Bami used to do it, they'd pull the curtain and I think it was 3,000-4,000 they'd get in max. and I've only ever done the full 10,000 once for KSW, and it's a bit surreal. Just for KSW, I was lashed over with bills because I was fighting a Polish guy, and the half 3/4 of the crowd were Polish. Afterwards, they were quite respectful and stuff like that. But just, I remember last time out for the Bellator card, it was quite surreal. 10,000, and the atmosphere down there it was. Unless you're there, you won't know. We know a lot of people remember the UFC day a couple of years back, and it really did mimic that, because there was Irish guys straight from the off day, right through to the very end, and I think they all done well as well, so the crowd carried that all the way through to the end, but the volume they sort of bring to it. But I'll be there now next week.
Yeah, and obviously you'd love to be there kind of fighting in front of the Irish crowd, and you've never been one to kind of like talk yourself up or kind of put yourself forward in that you should be in these spots, but you were in the co-main event spot on the Sky Sports portion of the card. That must have been kind of a real you must be very disappointed that not to be able to be in that. But when you're kind of talking about coming back January, February, like ideally would you be kind of looking to come back on an Irish card? Or I know you mentioned to Sean Sheehan in your last interview with him that you have the US visa now.
Yeah.
Would you be potentially looking now that kind of Bellator do seem to be kind of giving those Irish fighters a push in the US as well? Would you prefer to be over there?
It's just once I'm fighting, once I'm active, I honestly don't mind where I fight. With regards to sort of pushing myself out and saying I'm this and that, that's just me as a person. I won't be one to big myself up in a lot of things. I don't even tell people if I'm out and about and say we're in a nightclub with all the lads. I wouldn't be going around telling people I fight MMA. I'm not. I don't brag about things like that. That's just something I do personally. If it comes up in conversation, I'll tell them, I do or I don't. But I tend not to sort of. That's just me, but looking back on it now, in hindsight, I was talking to Pizza there earlier on. In hindsight now that all this happened, it was against a good opponent. I think Brandon is sort of ranked top 10 in the Bellator lightweight division. They were giving me a good opponent, a good placement on the card on a co-main event for the American portion of the card. So a little bit sickened that it didn't happen. But then again, it must mean that Bellator obviously sees something. I would be. I probably am the most experienced pro, sort of on the Irish pro that was on the card. Just the volume of fights I have. I think I have about 24 pro fights now at the minute. I think they're looking at that now and saying, well, this guy, especially after the last win against Charlie Leary, I went into that fight injured, sort of really badly injured with my shoulder. I won, and Charlie's a super tough guy. He went out and got a 30-25 against a good Chris Bungard then as well, and a great Chris Bungard too. So, that on top of the fights I have, on top of the sort of popularity I have in Ireland, maybe the way giving me a bit of a push, which is great, but I just when I come back next year, I hopefully to give me the same push and sort of push me into these top sort of main events or stuff like that, because I jump at them. I do relish them, but I don't ask for them, And
I suppose your opponent, that your would-be opponent, Brandon Gertz, he's now fighting John Tuck. Are you kind of looking at that fight as maybe you could kind of go back in there and face the winner? And would you be looking to kind of circle back to that opponent? Or
yeah, absolutely. Two great. That's a cracker of a fight, and two solid fighters. I wasn't aware that John Tuck got released by the UFC, but that's a cracker. In my opinion, that's a cracker of a fight. And absolutely, why not? I think I'm more than capable. I think two of my opponents actually fought John Tuck. I know Norman Park for him, and I know Damien Brown for him then as well. I beat Damien Brown in a super close decision with Norman Park, so like that I am in that sort of top tier bracket of fighting, so yeah,
I don't think anyone would argue that. Like, you're certainly up there in the conversation for kind of like the best one of the best fighters in Ireland. But you kind of mentioned Norman Park there, so I'd just like to kind of get your kind of take on, was that kind of inspiring to see him kind of win that KSW interim lightweight title there the last week? Yeah,
I didn't actually catch the fight. I was out, can't remember where I was. I just caught the result. Good for him. He went out with some issues with KSW before, and then he was signed, I think, at one stage to Bellator, and then he was calling for that fight again, and he went back to KSW for whatever reason. But look, he's over there doing his own thing, and hats off to him. We'd never sort of that should be me, that should be fuck that. Fair play to him, you know what I mean? He's over there doing his own thing.
Yeah, and obviously there's no animosity between you whatsoever. There's a lot, especially to be honest, that was one of my favourite fights on kind of Irish soil, just because of the level of respect shown between you by the end of it. But I suppose as we're kind of seeing a lot of kind of cross promotional events happening, would you be interested in, say, like, running that back later down the road, especially if they're kind of like cross promotional events?
I'd love to get that one back. Like I said, I'm not going to go crying about it if I don't ever. I'm sure Norman, he's called for it then as well, but two different promotions. He's a champion of one, but if anybody wants to do it, let's do it. It doesn't bother me, and I'm not going to call for him. I'm still every time I fight, Norman will shoot me a text saying, I think you'd beat him here or there, and I'd wish him the best of luck on any of his fights and something like that, like I did last weekend. So again, there's no animosity, but then if the fight got signed, we'd come out and smash each other up again, and then we'd have a point like we did the last time again, so that's just the way I fight. It's just the way I am. Again, it's just the way I am as a person. I don't sort of get involved with all that shy talk. I just genuinely can't see the point in it. I know it does build the fight up a little bit more and stuff like that, but I think when that fight happened, we literally didn't say anything about each other at all, and it was still turned out to be a cracker of a fight. We bet the head off each other for 3 rounds. It's not like because the animosity isn't there pre-build that I can't go 100% in there. I thought that was a cracker of a fight. So it just goes to show you don't need it for it to be a good fight. Obviously it does help build the fight, but it's just not my style.
Paul Redmond, thank you very much for your time, and all the best with the recovery.
Thanks. Cheers, Andy.
Thank you very much. Andy Stevenson for Severe MMA, and I'm joined